Hey, what's going on, everybody? Back with another Top Shot video. In this one, going to be talking about moments I'm selling. So instead of doing a buying video here, I'm going to just talk about moments that I think are overvalued at the moment, and if you have them, you could consider selling them and then buying back when they dip down lower. It just seems like a lot of these are overvalued on the market, so I wanted to go through and just give my opinion on which ones seem overvalued. And if I own them, I would probably be selling these. So I'm definitely in it for the long-term hold, but also I like flipping. I think it's fun, and it gives you some bankroll, as you saw in one of my last videos, flipping moments, and then I can reinvest in other cards and moments. It just gives you a little bit of bankroll to play with, and it's fun to do. So one thing before we get into the video is join the Discord down below if you haven't. It's getting really full. I think we have like 200 people, a lot of good talk around Top Shot and sports and stuff going on in that Discord, so definitely join if you haven't yet. But now let's just get right into this video. So we're just looking at the lowest ask players here. I mean, I'm not going to sell anything for $5. If you picked something up for 3 or 4, you could consider selling once you get down to 6 for some quick profit, but not really looking to sell any of these 35K moments. I'm still thinking they're going to do some kind of pack drop where you have to have a certain number of moments, and then they can maybe even allow people to scoop up more moments, and which would just drive the price way up on these. Still hoping that they're going to do that, but like a $5 35K would turn into $15 plus. So still a good idea to just hold on to 35Ks in my opinion. So for this, we're going to look at some filters. Some of my favorite filters to look at are just Top Shot debut and rookie year badges. I think there's a lot of value within these two badges. So first, let's just check out some rookies here. Look at some lowest asks. So off the bat, we got some pretty cheap options, which I'm not going to be selling. But as we scroll down here, we have some guys on two-way contracts like Mason Jones, still going for 47. I know he was up in the 50s, even 60s last week, and I was saying that I thought it was kind of an overvalued moment. I think still at 47, it's a little overvalued. He is one of the lowest 4,000 serials with all 4 badges here, but I just would not recommend long-term holds of guys that aren't on solid contracts. So definitely look into that before you're buying. Another guy here is like Jalen Smith at 65 or Kai Bowman at 67. We can look into their stats in a second, but it's just like I would rather have guys like Jordan McLaughlin or Xavier Tillman, even Jordan Nwora, who have put together some pretty good games and overall just pretty good seasons, honestly. Getting some solid minutes and turning in some pretty good games, but they're below a guy like Jalen Smith or Kai Bowman. And if we just pull up their stats, you can see what I'm talking about here. So Jalen Smith, he's played in 20 games, averaging 1.3 points per game. Let's see how many minutes he's getting. 4 minutes a game. So he really hasn't done anything in the league so far to make his price above some other guys that I was mentioning in this video. So for 65, I would rather go down a few bucks and get McLaughlin or Tillman, some guys that have some decent promise. If we just look at Jordan McLaughlin, it's going to be a really hard name to spell, but Google found it for me. So if we look at what he's doing in his stats, his second year, so his was a rookie last year out of 4,000, and this year he's averaging 20 minutes a game and putting up over 4 assists in both of his seasons. So he has a little bit of promise as a backup point guard in the league, and just seems like he's already kind of proven himself as a good solid backup. Looking at some more rookie badge tags here, we have Jarrett Culver, $77. He is not in the rotation at all for Minnesota in his second year. A little concerning considering when D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Karl Anthony Towns were all out, he literally could not even crack the rotation during that time. So I did watch one game where he subbed in for maybe 30 seconds, had a defensive breakdown, and then they took him right out in like the middle of the second quarter or something. So For $77, a lot of these guys below I would rather have. It just seems like they're not even really giving him a chance. Maybe if he moves to a different team and actually gets a real chance at playing time, it could be beneficial for him. Some other guys here is Peyton Pritchard at $93. He did have a few good games, but recently he's kind of been struggling, and for a small player who's supposed to be like a spark plug off the bench, he hasn't really been getting it done, and I don't know, I just wouldn't really be comfortable paying 93 for a player like that. I'd rather go someone like Tyrese Maxey, who definitely has a lot of promise. I think he had like a 40-point game or something this year when actually given a chance, so he's definitely pretty legit. And then once we start getting up to this price range, we start getting into some rising stars moments. I actually like these as holds. I'm not going to get too much into which rising stars I would be selling, but this one seems like a pretty good price, honestly. It just shows you that they were good enough in their rookie year to make the Rising Stars game, and it's only out of 2,000, so pretty low serial, and I think just overall pretty good moments. So let's look at some other ones I'll be selling on a different tag. So my other favorite tag here is Top Shot Debut. Just a lot of value in having the first moment of a player on Top Shot. So looking at a lot of these, not going to be selling guys down this low. $10 is super cheap for any kind of debut if they have any promise at all. So let's just go up a little higher. Just even to 13 here, Bruno Fernando. I would take pretty much all these guys below. Fernando here, Jackson Smith, Diallo, Melton, Lopez, Payton, Bryant, Covington, Caleb Martin. I would take all these guys above Fernando. Fernando really doesn't have a spot on the Hawks rotation with Capella, and then their other rookie, I forget how to pronounce his name, and also John Collins, so he really doesn't have a spot on that team right now. We're going to have some other guys is Dean Wade and Max Strus. They had that crazy run because they only released like 200 out of 12,000 of the moments, and their prices went way up at $15, still overvalued. I've watched a lot of Heat games and honestly don't even remember this guy ever playing. And then also Dean Wade has shown a little promise, but he's on the Cavs right now and they're kind of just trying anyone out. Still at 15. I would think in the next week or so he's going to be going down. And that brings me to these Top Shot debut moments that have very few moments released. So you can come to evaluate dot market and look at ones that barely have any moments in circulation. So if we look at Max Strus, you can see he still, I think, has under 1,000 released, which is why it's a little higher price. But once we get a pack drop, probably Tuesday, maybe Tuesday and Thursday, this 675 number is going to go a lot higher, and people are going to be selling. His price, guaranteed you, it's going to go down to like 10 or 11. So like Dean Wade, Max Strus, I'm going to be selling. There's a few other guys like that. I think like Tony Snell is going to be in that same boat with 600. If you want to find all of them, a really easy way to do that is to come here and let's just go circulation above 4,001. And then from there, sort by the least amount of listings. So you can see these guys, 12,000 serials, like Bembry has only 75 listings, and Javon Carter 75, Korkmaz 77, Claxton 81. So these guys, their price is inflated right now because there's not a lot of listings, and people are just scooping up the lowest listings to boost the value, essentially boost their price right now. So I would come through and think a lot of these guys are going to be sells. And a lot of these is with these Top Shot debuts. So these are the main things I'm looking to sell. There's Dean Wade and Strus here. So they're still a little overvalued. But it's going to be more guys even higher up here. So we can come look where they are on this. So like Wancho is above some guys with real promise like Beasley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and Cam Johnson, which just doesn't really make sense. As well as Garrett Temple, who's just been a long-time role player in the league. Doesn't make sense why he would be over some guys with a lot of promise. Same with Snell and Temple are kind of same situation. And then we have guys like Bembry, Winslow, Metu, who are decent players with a little promise. I feel like they've been in the league for a while and should have like figured it out by now, and probably are a little too highly priced. I mean, who has more promise? Metu, who's been in the league for 3 years, hasn't really done anything, or a nice young guy like Chris Boucher for the same price. Same with Nasir Little. Feel like he's been in the league for 3 years, never really got real minutes on the Blazers yet. Or you could pick up Clint Capella, who's probably going to be first or second team all defense, and just a really solid big man. So we can go down the list here. One grossly overpriced here is Garrison Matthews. He should be probably like $15 or lower. And Javon Carter, same kind of deal. These guys coming back to here, it's guys with low listings that their price is just artificially inflated. So that's the main ones I'm going to be selling. Is if I own any of these, I'm looking to sell before the next pack drop, because once more of these moments get released out there, these prices are going to absolutely tank. All right, and then the last group of people I'm going to be selling, I wanted to just come look at Series 1. So the very bottom guys, I'd probably just hold, unless it's guys that like aren't even in the league or you think are guaranteed to not be in the league next year. Wagner just got cut. Maybe one to keep an eye on in a week. If he doesn't get picked up by a team, then you should definitely sell. But if he gets picked up by a pretty good team here, maybe his price will bump up a little temporarily, and then it's probably a good time to sell. When if he gets picked up, his price goes up to in the 50s, I would say it's a sell. Or if he just doesn't get picked up in the next couple of weeks, I would also sell before his price just really tanks. So another interesting one here is Shabazz Napier. It's only out of 2,000, which for 62 seems like a pretty good price, but he is out of the league this season, not even on a team. Who knows if he'll ever make it back? That would be one to research before selling, but I doubt he's actually going to make it back to the NBA, so it's not like he retired. He just wasn't really good enough. Let's see where he is right now. So it looks like he's playing for FIBA for Puerto Rico. I didn't know he was Puerto Rican, but apparently he's playing in some kind of FIBA Cup. I don't know if he has a path back to the United States. He dropped 48 points and 15 assists, so that's pretty good. I don't know. So if you think he can make it back to the NBA, it could be a good hold at just 2,000. But for a guy who's not currently in the league, it seems like a hard thing to buy there. Here we kind of have an outlier, really high price tag on Maxi Kleber. Not sure why he's all the way up at 90, but I would think he would be going down to like in the 70s for his first moment. If we just scroll up a little, find some other around 4,000. I mean, we got Aldridge for less, Joe Harris for less, and Kelly Oubre for less at even a lower serial. So not sure why Maxi Kleber is so high. Seems kind of like an outlier there, and one I would be looking to sell. Alright, so now this video is getting a little long. I could keep scrolling, looking at different tags, different series, different serial numbers all day, but there's just so many to cover. So hopefully you guys got a good idea of some groupings of moments. The big ones I'm looking to sell if I was owning those are those 12,000 serials with low ownership and low listing. Definitely check out evaluate.market and add more funds to find those, because I think those are almost guaranteed. The prices on a lot of those are going down. So hopefully you got something out of this video and you're going to subscribe, and I'll see you in another video for more content around this kind of Top Shot talk.
Another day, another beer.